Assalamu alaikum, dears. We are here with a new lecture. The lecture is related with the summary of A Doll's House. A Doll's House is a play written by Henrik Ibsen. In this lecture, we will be focusing on the story, the plot of this play. We will be dealing what major events took place in this play. Let's start. The play takes place in Norway in the late 19th century, and the action takes place in one location, and that location is the city apartment of Tarvold and Nora Helmer. Both is a married couple. The action is longer for 3 days. It is 3 days long. It is the first day is Christmas Eve, the second is Christmas Day, and the Boxing Day, the last day where the play ends. The main characters are the Nora, the Torvald Helmer, the husband, Mrs. Lande, Nora's childhood friend, Dr. Rank, their family friend, and Niels Krogstad, an employee at the bank, of which Torvald has recently become a director. Now, the play opens on a Christmas Eve. Nora brings a Christmas tree to her house as a present for her three children. We see that there is a discussion between Helmer and Nora. Helmer says, "Why you are spending so much money? You must save some money." But Nora says, "You are becoming the director of the bank, so it's not a big deal to spend money. We should borrow some money this time." But Helmer is against borrowing money. Then we come to know that Torvald and Nora, they are both very lovely couple. They husband and Torvald, he calls different names, a songbird, lark, and squirrel to his wife. Then Nora and her friend Mrs. Christine Lende, they meet each other after 10 years. She comes to meet Nora and she is now in need of a job. Nora tells her that she will find a job for her through her husband. In the meanwhile, Nora also tells something about her past that once I faced a problem and I managed to save to get large amount of money in order to save my husband health, and we went to Italy for a rehabilitative visit. But Nora does not say from where did she get such a big amount of money. Then Dr. Rank enters the house. Nora introduces Mrs. Lander to Dr. Rank. They three of them they sit together. They play jokes. After some time, uh, Helmer also comes out of his study. Nora requests Helmer to find a job for Mrs. Lande and he confirms it. Then, when the three, Nora remains home and the three others, Dr. Rank, Lande, and Helmer, they go out of the house. Krogstad enters the house and he meets Nora. Krogstad says that your husband is going to dismiss me from the bank, and now he's blackmailing Nora, and he says that I know how did you manage that money to save your husband health in the past. It was a forgery. You have forged the signature of your father, and I am witness to it. If I tell this all to your husband, it will be very bad for you and for your children. Now Nora is worried about her life and her children and her husband. So Nora requests for Crackstead job, but Helmer refuses. When Helmer comes back, she says that please do not dismiss Krogstad from the job. But Helmer is very much against Krogstad because he thinks that he's morally corrupt. Then he's assured that he will write a dismissal letter of Krogstad job. So it is the worries inside Nora's mind are intensified. The next day, when Mrs. Lande come again to meet Nora, Nora tells uh, uh, mm, her husband again. When Mrs. Lande is there at their house, is there in Nora's house. Nora requests her husband again to not to dismiss Krogstad from the job, but Helmer again refuses. Helmer says that he is a corrupt employee, and some years back he is involved, he is guilty of a forgery. Nora is now very much worried. She wants Dr. Rank to help her, but when Dr. Rank comes to their house the next moment, Dr. Rank confesses her his love for Nora. And in this situation, Nora is unable to tell him the story, the things she is worried about. When Dr. Rank goes out, Crockstead again comes to meet Nora and he says that I have received the dismissal letter. So this time I will inform your husband of each and everything. He has written a letter and he dropped that letter into the letterbox. And now it is all tension for Nora. Uh, the Crockstead letter is in the letterbox, and then Mrs. Lande comes, and it is the third day, and Mrs. Lande promises Nora to help her because Nora says everything about the forgery and the past to Mrs. Lande. Mrs. Lande goes and she meets Crockstead. We come to know that Crockstead and Mrs. Lande they had both a love relationship in the past. Crockstead assure Mrs. Lande to help Nora, so he writes another letter of apology to Helmer. Now, in the end, he also dropped the second letter into the letterbox, and when Nora and Helmer they comes to their house after entertaining at the ball, the dance. Torvald opens the letterbox and finds Krogstad first letter. Now he is very furious at Nora. He calls her the hypocrite, a liar, a criminal, because she did a forgery, and it is something which is against Helmer's and 18th century morality. So he says that she is not fit to look after her children. But suddenly he finds the second letter from Krogstad in which he is apologizing and he says that I'll not disclose this matter to the public. So he says, now I am saved. Okay, now he calms down and he says, Nora, you did what was necessary at that moment, and it is a sudden change in his attitude. It shows that he is taking much care of the society, his social image, rather than his wife, her sacrifices, her love for Helmer. But Nora says that now I have realized what is my situation, what is my condition at your house. I was just like a doll, and you were making yourself happy by playing with me. I'm not a human being from you for you. I want to become an individual. I want to know myself. I want to realize myself. So I want to live an independent life. She leaves home, and although Helmers requests a lot that it is your duty to stay at home to raise your children, it is your religious duty, but she goes out. This is all about the play. It is a feminist play. For the first time. A lady, she is going to leave her family and duties because she comes to know what is her status in society and in her husband house. Thank you so much for listening the lecture. If you like it, please subscribe the channel. Thank you so much.